Well, welcome back. We made a lot of progress on the AMX GT the last few days. I worked on it all last week, played with it on Sunday, got the bodywork wrapped up today, and I got it in epoxy primer. Let me turn this around and show you. Okay, so here's the first coat of fiberglass. Not fiberglass in the sense of cloth. This kind of fiberglass. So it's a spreadable fiberglass, and now what I'm doing is I put a guide coat over it. I'm taking my longboard and I'm going like this to reveal all these low spots. I'm going to get these filled so I can put epoxy primer on it. You see the whole thing. Put epoxy primer on it, dial in that body line that we've been creating, and then what's going to happen after epoxy primer's on it, I'm going to throw the leaf springs back in the car, put the rear end in it, so I can take it off of this table and move the car around a little more freely. I could put it up on jack stands because I had to have some tack welding to do underneath that. You can see there's not much room between the bottom of the floor and the table. So I need to get in there and get that done, and then I can seal up the floor once and for all. So trying to get this quarter and primer today or tomorrow, and then we'll move on. So some of you have seen me using different types of sandpaper, tools, things like that. I'm going to run through what I'm sanding down this fiberglass with. Now remember, the fiberglass is the first coat that you kind of get the general shape in of the body lines and the contours. So what I'm doing is I use paper that I buy at Harbor Freight, and I am not sponsored by Harbor Freight, although I'd like to be. And I use their Bauer brand paper. So right here, this is for their belt sander, their big belt sander. 21 inches long. There's 3 sheets in there, and that's 40 grit. Same thing here. This is 80 grit. This is the hook and loop for the electric DA that I use, 60 grit. I've got 40 grit and I've got 100 grit. I use this teardrop shaped rubber sanding block that I got a few years ago when I did the AMX that's hiding under this cover. And I've got the DuraBlock, the long block, and it's not hook it. What I do is I get some spray adhesive, I spray the sandpaper, I spray the block, and I put it on there. So all this sandpaper you're looking at, plus this rubber block, was $26. Now, I'm not trying to bash the guys that are running the body shop supply places. They cater to the body shops and restoration centers that are in business to make a living. Again, I'm a hobbyist. I'm in my garage, as you know, and I'm on a budget. So I paid 26 bucks for all this sandpaper. And if you look, it sands everything down just like that other $90 a box longboard 80 grit or 36 grit or whatever grit. You get a big box of that by 3M. I'm pretty sure they're about 90 bucks now. Even if they were 60, I've got 26 bucks in all this paper and it's doing the same thing. So, you know, when you work at home, you got to save some money, and that's just one way that I do it, and I thought I'd share that with you guys. Well, you might be able to tell it's still wet. So if you do see some reflection of dents in the door, just like the other side, you do the body work over the epoxy primer in this case. So we've got a nice looking quarter panel there now. We've got a good door gap. Let me shut this. We got a good door gap. We got a good rocker gap here. You can see that. Nice fender gap. So I'm pretty happy with the way this all turned out. And we've got, you saw me weld up with the other video, the door jamb is in. So we're making some headway here. And what I'm going to do next is, well, you see the car is horizontal to the platform. I'm going to turn it halfway, so like the front will be facing me. And then I'll be able to put the leaf springs in, put the rear axle in, and put this thing down on the ground, because there's no way I could do the caulking and a couple of touch-up welds on the underside that I need to do on this platform. You could see that's only like maybe a foot of space. But I had the carpenter's level on the front frame rails. In fact, I'll show it to you. So there's the carpenter's level. And you can see, well, if you zoom in anyway, you can see that the bubble's right in the middle. And it's the same thing on the back, same thing on the rocker panel sills. So everything stayed put. You can see my tram bar laying there. I use the tram bar to measure everything. Everything is symmetrical. So now we can get it on the ground, tighten up that bottom, finish that up with caulking. Then I'm going to grab that roof. There's the roof, that big piece of white here. And somehow it's going to end up on this Javelin body to the Gremlin, the back of the Gremlin. So be it a Javelin or an AMX, it will turn it into a AMX GT. So hang in there with me. We'll get these videos going, and we'll talk with you soon.